Hi everyone, my name is Faisal and my startup is called BorderPass. Our aim is to make intra-ASEAN travel more secure and seamless. So basically what we do is we replace paper immigration forms with online profiles, which are sent to the destination country the moment you book your flight. So the destination authorities get your profile, they can go through your profile, vet through it. If they feel that they're fairly sure you are who you say you are, and you don't show up in any watch lists, they'll pre-clear you to go through an automated gate. So outside over there, you see our prototype gate. And I want to show you some test footage of people using that gate and how excited people are in terms of seamless and automated travel. So this is footage from the ASEAN Entrepreneurship Summit. We tested the system with about 122 members of the public without a single case of misidentification or failure. As you can see, you can wear a cap, it still recognizes you. We tested it with people of all ages, different races, different complexions, and it worked absolutely fine. So the thing that I really feel great about is sort of the expressions of people when they see themselves being recognized by the gate and the doors swing open. They just feel so welcome to see the name on the screen. And this is the experience that we want to have across ASEAN. So we've also got public opinion on our side. We conducted surveys with members of the public. We asked them, would you be comfortable sending your immigration information in advance of travel? Overwhelmingly, 81% of that said yes, we were to facilitate and expedite immigration. And we also asked, would you be willing to pay for this service? 71% said they're willing to pay at least $10 for this. Now, but travel isn't just about fun and excitement. There's also a security angle to it. And this is something that's very, very important to governments. Here's what we've done. In terms of improving the process of immigration, currently what you have is a very last-minute thing. You fill up the form on the plane, you land, line up, and then you speak to an officer at a very last moment when you've already arrived in the country. This is especially true within a visa-free regime like ASEAN. So we have no idea who's coming until they actually show up at the door. What we're doing here is we're putting that immigration process right at the start, the moment you've booked your flight. To just show people how little time people have in terms of vetting the people that come through, this is a page out of my own passport. This is my visa to Afghanistan in 2012. I've traveled all over the world with this passport, and no one has ever asked me a question about it. I've been to Singapore several times, the US, Europe, South America, not a single question. The only questions I've ever gotten were from the Indian government because I went to Kabul via Delhi on the way out. Now, some people might be a little concerned. I was there many, many years ago during the war in 2002 as a humanitarian worker. So 2012 was a 10-year anniversary. I just went back to photograph the Afghans. I've got the photos to prove it as well, so relax. This is one country. Now imagine a multi-leg journey around, and currently all we capture is port of entry and port of exit, right? So countries are actually working with a very limited data set. What BorderPass does is we aggregate your travel history up. So remember when they get your profiles in advance, they'll be able to go through your travel history. And every time you go through an automated gate, a photo is taken of you. See, the problem with passports is that they're valid for about 5 to 10 years in the case of an American passport. But over time, your appearance can change. You might gain weight, lose weight, you can grow a beard. Women have all kinds of different hairstyles. What this does is it gives immigration officers context, a timeline of photos to compare that to your passport. Now, we have a facial recognition gate outside, and I just want to tell you why we've put that in. These are actually 4 very, very famous people that very few people actually can identify. At the top, you see the 2 gentlemen who boarded MH370 with stolen passports. At the bottom are the owners of those passports. Right? So on the left-hand side, you see more than a passing resemblance. But on the right-hand side, there's clearly a 50-year age gap. What I'd like to emphasize here is that immigration officers have a very difficult and important job. But they're still human. They see hundreds, if not thousands of people on a daily basis. They get tired after a while. So we thought, okay, what's the most robust test that we can put up against a facial recognition camera? So this was a test we devised. we called up every modeling agency in the San Francisco Bay Area looking for a pair of identical twins. And we thought, okay, if the camera can tell the difference between something a human officer would struggle to do, then we're really onto something in terms of security. This is a result of that test. As you can see, they were identified in less than half a second. And consistently, we did this test over and over and over again to make sure it's right. Disease is also something that we're concerned about. On the right-hand side are those self-declaration forms that are used all over the world. I mean, let's be real. No one's ever going to say that I've got a fever, snivel, cough, diarrhea, vomiting, self-declaration. So we thought, okay, there are things like H1N1 and SARS and Ebola around. What sort of sensors can we integrate to the gate that addresses these problems? So we've added a contactless heartbeat camera. This is an algorithm that comes from MIT. It's open source. What happens here is that they augment tiny changes of color on the surface of the skin of the baby, and that gives you the heart rate. You don't have to touch the baby to get that reading. It's all great. And of course, a thermal camera to get your body temperature. So if you think about it, if we have the passenger's travel history, the body temperature, and also heart rate, that gives ministries of health a lot of useful analytics in terms of containing diseases. So where are we at with traction? We've campaigned to the Malaysian government very, very hard. We started with junior officers. We got them excited about the idea to raise it up to management. We've pitched it to the board of immigration. They liked it enough. They sent us to the Ministry of Home Affairs, to the parent company, and they issued us a letter of support. Similarly, at the Ministry of Tourism as well, we've done pitches at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs addressing the staff, Ministry of Finance, EPU, etc. And I might add also, we spoke to the airlines in Malaysia, and they're very keen to get a frequent flyer program going with us. But Malaysia is not enough. Our target market is ASEAN. We've got 50 million intra-ASEAN tourist arrivals every year. We give each other visa-free entry, so in terms of policy, the hard work's been done. 9 out of 10 countries use biometric chip passports, and that's standardized by the ICAO. 6 out of 10 have automated gates, so the passengers in those countries coming home already are trained to use those gates. And then 5 out of 10 have manual ASEAN lanes. So what BorderPass is really an automated ASEAN lane. So our business model is really quite simple. It's basically like toll gates. We want to charge something very democratic everyone can afford, something like $2 or $3 per entry. You will also be able to pay using your frequent flyer miles and credit card points, etc. Data is also a huge opportunity here. We mentioned the ministries of health in terms of containing pandemics. But think of all the people that use the same data over and over again that we fill up in forms online over and over again. We need to fill up a form to book a flight. We need to fill out a form to book a hotel. We need to fill out a form to apply for a visa. We need to fill out another form. It just goes on and on and on. And you do this over and over again. So what we want to put together here is a single sign-on that does everything using one credential, which is very, very secure, which is your BorderPass account. How you can help. Basically, we're here hoping to engage ASEAN governments. We're also looking for partners in ASEAN countries. People can help us put us in touch with airports, airlines, hotels, chains and banks, etc., to get partnerships going. And in terms of cost, how much this costs for each country, we're pegging it at about $5 million US dollars for each country. So I'll end, I'm just trying to be brief because I think we've gone over time a bit, with a call to action. Let's make ASEAN relevant. If we go around ASEAN and ask people, are you an ASEAN national? Or can you name the 10 ASEAN countries around? I think a lot of people will struggle because we tend to put nation first above region. But if we were to give the people a tangible benefit for having an ASEAN identity, I think we're onto something special here in terms of getting this idea of ASEAN at a grassroots level. So that's where we're at. Please like us on Facebook and Instagram. We'll be taking some questions.
Any questions?
The face recognition, no. But we've got a provisional patent on the platform. So what we've done is basically we've taken over off-the-shelf technologies, which are really solutions looking for problems, and we've put them into a workable package that addresses seamlessness and also security.
Any other questions? Okay, I think it was
No?
quite clear.
Okay, yeah. All right.
So I think for those of you who haven't checked it out, you can check out the prototype outside.
Great.
Thank you, Faisal,
Thank you.
for that interesting presentation.